Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitcherista here on YouTube, and today is going to be another diamond paint with me while I continue working on Treasure Studios art, Cherry Blossom by Lizzie Falcon. I'm very happy I'm to an actual color, not black. I got all the black done yesterday. So we're probably going to do that diamond shaped because there's like one right there. Yeah, what is that one? 3. So yesterday for work was kind of a doozy. Not a doozy, it's just the job didn't start till 1. And then at like 5 o'clock, one of the other team members heard the attorney say, "Oh, we're going till 6. That means 7 my time." I'm like, really? Which meant I wouldn't be done work till 7:30 at the earliest. And so I messaged Bill and I'm like, he's like, "Oh, it's okay. We were having cauliflower pizza," which we try to have when I work late like that because it's easy to pop in the oven. But luckily they ended much earlier than they anticipated, so that was good. But so I stitched last night and I was in bed by 10. That's my goal. In bed by 10. And I was last night. So I wake up this morning to make Bill's lunch. And I see I have a text message from our proofreader saying, "What the F does our boss mean that yesterday's is due today?" And I'm like, what? Because the normal turnaround we had was for like next Tuesday. So then I check my email. There's an email from my boss that says, "I'm sorry, I should have asked them when they wanted it yesterday." I mean, all these emails were coming at like 11:30. I've been asleep for an hour and a half, right? And so luckily our proofreader is wonderful and she is able to proof it today. And I already did like the indexing. So as soon as I got up at 6:40 this morning. Right now it's like 7:25. Our job doesn't start today until 10. But I got up right away and I already indexed yesterday's job. So I've already done stuff for work. I'm like, dude, can I have some coffee? Right? Like, ugh. I hate when it's like rushing like that. You know what I mean? When we're kind of under the gun to do stuff. But I did the indexing now because it takes time. It took me a good 20 minutes. And if I wouldn't have done it now, if I would have waited until the proofreader had proofed the job, I would be trying to do it during today's job, which that stresses me out even more, trying to do stuff like that when I have a break or on a lunch break. So the job will already be done when the proofreader sends it back to me. And yesterday was not hard. We could hear everybody clearly, so I told the proofreader it should be, somewhat easy reading for her. Because my boss is not the only person she proofreads for. Like she said, she's been really slammed this week. And at least you get to charge the daily rate, though. We make more money when it's a quick turnaround. And then we have that same case today, but at least they're starting at fucking 10 o'clock. So if they go to 5, okay, not a big deal. But yeah, so yeah, I'm really loving my Carolyn Manning Designs project that I'm working on, the Phoenix. Wait till you guys see it in my cross stitch vlog on Saturday if you watch it. Oh my God. And now that I can't wait to see how it winds up really turning out as I get more of it done. And believe it or not, it stitches up pretty quickly once you get going, But yeah. Okay, so I read some more of that book yesterday and I don't like it. Luckily, I was still in the sample part and I hadn't bought it, so still on the lookout now for my next book. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know. I was on the fence about that book. And then yesterday I kept reading. I'm like, nah. It's got to get me. It's got to get me like just about from the get-go, I have a lot of samples on my Kindle though, so I'm confident. Maybe I pick up one of my R.L. Stine books. I still have a shit ton of those that I bought that I haven't read. Maybe I'll do that. I sometimes like to take a break and read one of those. I have one by Carolyn B. Cooney called Freeze Tag that I almost picked up. Do I have any more of that symbol? Yes, in here. All right. So today's story. The stories have been brutal, haven't they? Okay, so this one is called A Shared Madness. It's got a picture of two people, a guy and a girl. Oy. I can only imagine. They must kill somebody. Jesus. Okay. It is known in criminal psychology as folie à deux. Folie? I don't know how to fucking pronounce that. It's spelled Folie, which is a madness shared by two people. Often these individuals would lead normal productive lives alone or with other partners, but the influence they exert on each other leads them to darker places and often into criminality. And it was this situation with Nathan Matthews and Shauna, it looks like Hoare, Hoare, Hoare. We're just going to say Shauna. I'm not even going to try to butcher that. So Nathan was a handsome, if somewhat unkempt. He looks awful in the picture. It was probably a mugshot. If somewhat unkempt 24-year-old who worked as a delivery driver for Domino's Pizza. His girlfriend Shauna was just 16. What the fuck? 16 and 24? That's a big difference. 8 years. Yikes. Shauna was just 16 and tended to the home care needs of Nathan's mother, who had multiple sclerosis. How did she get that job at 16? Nathan was talkative and outgoing, always ready with a joke or two, and Shauna was more of an introvert, shy and unsure of herself. The couple seemed devoted to one another and were well liked by those who knew them. But they freaky deaky, I'm guessing. Right? Wouldn't be a story. The facade, though, was a thin one. Behind the scenes, Nathan and Shauna harbored some pretty disturbing sexual fantasies. Oh, Lord. Here we go. Nathan had a thing for schoolgirls and an obsession with pornography. Jesus. Yeah, what guy isn't? No, psych. His dream was to have a threesome with 2 teenage girls, and Shauna was happy to accommodate him on that score. The first time was consensual, with a friend of Shauna's willingly joining the couple in bed, but the experience did not live up to Nathan's expectations. Does it ever? Right? I mean, I can't speak for myself because I've never done that, or never had a desire to. I'm a one person. So the next time he suggested they should kidnap a teenager and force her to participate. What? Yeah, like that's gonna, Far from being repulsed by the idea, Shauna enthusiastically embraced it. And she also had no objection to the girl that Nathan suggested, his pretty 16-year-old stepsister, Becky. Oh my God. What the actual fuck, dude? So Nathan had not enjoyed the best start to life. He never knew his father and saw his mother only intermittently during his childhood. He was raised instead by his grandparents, Margaret and Christopher May. Growing up in the village of Warmley in South Gloucestershire, England, I don't even know if I fucking said that right. Nathan was a sickly child. He suffered from fibromyalgia, a rheumatic condition which often left him racked with pain. And so this in turn isolated him from his peers. And he grew up to be a surly and insular teen with anger issues. I get that. I get it. He was often uncommunicative and spent much of his time cooped up in his bedroom, and it was during these long periods of isolation that he first discovered online pornography, something that would soon become an obsession. Yeah. So after leaving school, Nathan signed on for an apprenticeship as an electrician, but discovered he had no aptitude for the trade and he quit. Thereafter, he held various low-paying jobs like delivering takeout meals and groceries. He also applied to the Territorial Army and was accepted despite his medical issues. However, there was never any chance he would make a career as a soldier. He was too unreliable, too moody, and too prone to violent outbursts. But at least one thing had made a positive turn in Nathan's life. In 2007, he reestablished contact with his mother, and his mother had since met a man named Darren Galsworthy and was living in Bristol with Darren and his 2 children, Becky and Daniel. After moving to the area, Nathan became a regular visitor at their residence, and when his mom and Darren decided to get married, Nathan served as best man. So, you think things are going good, right? Nathan's girlfriend, Shauna, had endured an even tougher upbringing than her soon-to-be partner in crime. As a child, she was made a ward of the state, although she was later reunited with her birth mother, Lisa Donovan. Lisa had 7 other children. Good night. Which made conditions in her tiny house rather crowded. Yeah. Not that Shauna was home much. Within a year of reuniting with her mom, the 14-year-old Shauna had begun dating Nathan, who was 22 years old at the time. 14 and 22 is even worse. Over her mother's objection, she moved in with Nathan. Oh my God. Into a terraced house owned by the city council. Conditions were pretty basic, with the couple sleeping on a mattress on the floor and the residence cluttered and filthy. Much of their time was spent in bed watching pornography on a computer. What the fuck? Their favorite search terms, which were later uncovered by forensic investigators because obviously they're big freaking dummies, were teenager, schoolgirl, and threesome. It was around this time that Shauna started caring for Nathan's mother, and both she and Nathan began spending time at her residence in the St. George area of Bristol. Nathan seemed to have a good relationship with his family, but an off-kilter one with his stepsister Becky. He told Shauna that he disliked her, claiming that she was self-centered and manipulative. But he was forever pranking her and was particularly fond of hiding and then jumping from cover to give her a scare. Kind of like Bill. He likes to do that to me. Becky was far less ambivalent about her feelings towards Nathan. She told friends that he creeped her out and that he tried to fondle her when she was a child. Jesus. Even more frighteningly, he once told her that he would like to kill her and had described in great detail how he would do it. He told her that he would bludgeon her to death with a sledgehammer. That's lovely. Fabulous. No. Becky wasn't the only young woman to endure psychological torment by Nathan. Shauna suffered greatly at his hands, and because she's so young, she doesn't know that she deserves much better. Nathan constantly told Shauna she was fat, which she wasn't, and made her beg him for food and for money to buy cigarettes. When Shauna decided she wanted to attend a community college, he allowed her to enroll, but then refused to let her attend lectures after he discovered there were male students in the class. What the fuck? He was also physically abusive, often pulling her around by the hair or slapping her, and one time he throttled her until she was on the verge of blacking out. And it makes somebody wonder why she stayed with him. Like I said, though, come from a broken home or a not so great home, you find somebody who even gives you a scrap of time or attention, and you're going to latch onto that. You're going to latch onto it. So she did, obviously. But Shauna did stay with him, and not only did she stay, but she willingly bought into his twisted fantasies. And in fact, many experts believe that she played an active and perhaps a prominent role in the terrible events to come, because we know something horrific and awful is going to happen, because there wouldn't be a story otherwise. So on the morning of February 19th, 2015, Nathan's mom said goodbye to her stepdaughter Becky and left her Bristol home for a hospital appointment. When And it says her name, I think her name is Annie. We're going to call Nathan's mother Annie. When Annie returned some hours later, she found her son Nathan and his girlfriend Shauna there, but no sign of Becky. And according to the pair, Becky had gone out shortly before Annie returned. Since that was by no means unusual, Annie thought no more of it. But I'm guessing Becky did not go out, by the way they're saying it, right? But when Becky had still not returned by nightfall, Annie and her husband Darren did start to worry. It was most unlike Becky to go off somewhere without letting them know. The couple would spend a frantic night calling Becky's friends in an unsuccessful effort to locate her. By 4 p.m. the next day, they went to the police and reported her missing. Oh my God. We know what happened, right? Now a hunt was launched for the missing girl, with officers making door-to-door inquiries, searching a number of houses in the area, and also carrying out a grid search of the Troopers Hill Nature Reserve. In the meantime, several potential witnesses were interviewed, including Nathan and Shauna. Of course they were. They repeated the story they had earlier told Annie, that they had been in the house with Becky until Becky left. They hadn't seen her leave, they admitted, but had heard the front door close. Am I done this symbol now? Yes, I am. Da! I'm going to do that hourglass symbol because there's a lot there. So Nathan seemed genuinely concerned about his missing stepsister as he answered questions, and Shauna oddly wore a perpetual grin. The fuck? Although sometimes people under stress or something like that behave strangely, right? But yeah. So on February 22nd, with the search now days old and still no sign of Becky, the Avon and Somerset police issued a public appeal for information. You know that's going to bring in the fucking crazy people, because it always does. I'm finding my diamonds for the next one. Where the fuck is it? Okay. That brought in a bunch of tip-offs, most of them useless, but one at least that would point police in the direction of a suspect. On February 28th, officers arrived at the Barton Hill home of Nathan and Shauna and placed them under arrest. Oh boy, that didn't take long, did it? The couple was taken to a local police station for questioning. The following day, investigators descended on a shed in the yard of Nathan's neighbor. It was there they located Becky, or at least what remained of her. Becky's corpse had been cut into several pieces, sprinkled with salt, and stored in buckets and boxes. What the fuck? How many times am I going to say that in this video? How had this happened? Yeah, we're all curious about that at this point. How had a vibrant young woman ended up murdered, dissected, and dumped in a garden shed? Nathan claimed it had all been an accident. Chopping someone up into pieces isn't an accident. An accident on purpose, right? What the fuck? According to him, he had decided to kidnap his stepsister in order to teach her a lesson for disrespecting her parents. Wait a minute, I gotta pause. Okay, that was our neighbor across the street. So across the street, really nice people. It's a mother and father that actually own the house. And the mother and father's daughter and husband live in the house. And they've been redoing, like it looks gorgeous. They added an addition on. They've done new siding. They've been doing stuff since like January. And they're very, very, very nice people. And that was the mother walking over. And I'm like, she had a package in her hand. Mail is delivered incorrectly in our area so much. It's crazy. And she had a package, and I'm pretty sure it's cross-stitch fabric, because I was like, ooh. She's like, are you Danielle? Bill talks to them more than I do. But that was really nice of her to bring that package over. We've gotten their Amazon packages before, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. And that's a big package. Like, the fabric was a big package, so, okay. But I thanked her, talked to her for a minute. Was very appreciative of her bringing that over here. Okay. Luckily, I was awake because it's only like 7:42 here. Anyway. Yeah, Nathan saying it was an accident. No, dude, no. So he says, however, it had all gone wrong. Becky had fought back, and while trying to subdue her, he had accidentally strangled her. Really? Accidentally? On purpose? He had then panicked and decided to get rid of the body, and Shauna had nothing to do with the murder, he insisted. She had been outside in the garden when he had killed Becky, but she had, however, helped him cover up the crime. So it was a tidy, clean story, right? But one the police did not believe, and which the evidence did not support. A far more plausible explanation was the one that investigators put together, that Nathan and Shauna had arrived at the house that day with the intention of kidnapping Becky and using her in their perverted sex games. Yeah, that sounds more likely. The couple had each been carrying a stun gun and had bought batteries for the weapons that very morning, showing they intended to use them. So Becky had likely been attacked in her room and had been strangled to death on her bed. She had also suffered 15 deep stab wounds to her abdomen, although the pathologist believed that those wounds had been inflicted post-mortem. The fuck? It was yet another indicator of Nathan's warped psychology. Like I said, not an accident. You're not stabbing someone 15 times by accident either. Nah. So, with the object of their desire now dead, the sick couple carried her down to Nathan's black Opel Zafira and hid her body in the trunk. And she was still there when Annie arrived home and asked about her whereabouts. Jesus. Later, Nathan and Shauna would bring the corpse back to their house where it was unceremoniously dumped in the bathtub. Shauna later admitted that she and Nathan had ordered takeout and played a game of Monopoly with Becky's corpse just a few feet away in the bathroom. Wow. Shauna also said they had made up a song about it, a parody of Do You Want to Build a Snowman from the animated film Frozen. And their version went, Do You Want to Hide a Body? Wow, these people really fucking take the cake. So the following day, Nathan visited a B&Q store. Don't know what that is, but I'm guessing a department store or a hardware store. And bought the circular saw that would be used to cut up Becky's corpse. Investigators later retrieved security footage of him making this purchase. He and Shauna were also caught on camera at Poundland, buying various cleaning products to scrub down the scene. And despite their efforts, crime scene investigators would retrieve plenty of blood, bone, and tissue matter, proving that Becky had been dissected in the tub. I don't even know how you dissect somebody. Because I'm not like I don't want to say a freak, but because I'm not psychotic, right? So Nathan and Shauna went on trial at the Bristol Crown Court in October 2015, with Nathan still telling his ludicrous accidental death story. Dude, give that fucking story up. Unfortunately for him, his version of events was as unbelievable to the jury as it had been to the police. The panel took just 3 hours and 27 minutes to find Nathan guilty of murder and Shauna guilty of manslaughter. He was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 33 years, and Shauna got 17 years. Nathan's neighbors, Carl and his girlfriend Jadine, also received custodial sentences. Oh my God! They had helped to cover up the crime by letting Nathan hide the murdered girl's body parts in their shed. So they knew it was a dead body? What the fuck, people? So Nathan is currently incarcerated at Long Larton Prison in Worcestershire. Shauna is being held at Bronzefield Women's Prison in Surrey. Neither of them has had an easy time behind bars. Shauna has been attacked by other prisoners on several occasions, and twice she was beaten so badly she had to be resuscitated. Nathan, meanwhile, had a jug of boiling water flung in his face, suffering severe burns as a result. Well, I hate to say that people deserve stuff, but for what they did to that poor girl, can you imagine Nathan's stepmother? Or no, Nathan's stepfather, like, you killed my daughter. Your stepsister. I fucking can't with that. Wow. People are just, I can't. I can't even with that. Okay. We surely need the positive affirmation today. No doubt about that. From A Year of Positive Thinking by Cindy Spiegel. Today is Thursday, August 12th. And this one says, feel however you feel. And before I even read it, Who did I tell this? Did I tell my stepdaughter? I think we were talking about something, and I said, you know, you're entitled to feel however you feel. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if someone else thinks it's irrational or stupid or it's not how they're feeling. You are entitled to feel however you feel about whatever it is. Okay. So feel what you feel. Do not attempt to be happy in every moment of sadness. Happiness is a powerful emotion, but it needs space in order to thrive. Sadness also needs space to be felt before it can move along and make way for other emotions. Allow yourself to feel all emotions with compassion. Know that these feelings too shall pass, and when you are ready, trust that you will gracefully move forward. Okay, that's not really what I said, but that too, where, you know, there's a time and a place for every feeling. A couple days ago, I wasn't feeling so great mentally. And you know what? There are plenty of days throughout the month that I feel like that. And I don't dwell on it because I know it will pass eventually, but I'm entitled to feel like that. Like Bill came home from work, not yesterday, but the day before. Today's Thursday, Tuesday. And I could tell he was like irritated. And he said, I just have one of those days. You know how you wake up irritated and you just pissed off the whole day? Yep, I've had plenty of those. Okay. Yeah. Feel that way. I get it. Sometimes there is no explanation, and then everything, you literally attract all of the irritating stuff to yourself. Yeah. But yeah, feel what you're going to feel. Don't let anybody try to discount it or say you shouldn't feel that way. You have every right to feel however you want to feel about a situation. So I hope you guys are all have a fantastic Thursday. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.